Hello guys, what's up? JP Mitchell here. So I want to explain what it was like to be autistic versus what it was like to make a full, complete recovery from autism. And I want to explain of how scary your autism is and how scary your child's autism is. So let's do this. So my story officially begins in 2003, 2004, when I was approximately 4 years old. And by the time I was born at Victoria General Hospital, Mitch went to go and see the doctor after I was born. And the doctor said, well, your son JP Mitchell is a perfectly normal autistic child. And Mitch is like, well, what do you mean by normal? What exactly do you mean by my son is normal? And the doctor says, well, your son JP Mitchell has normal behavior for an autistic child. His symptoms fit the diagnosis of his autism perfectly. So that meant that when the symptoms were there, the diagnosis was there. But it wasn't official until like way later on when I was 11 years old. That's when I officially got the official diagnosis on the moderate autistic scale. So let's go from my story. So once after I was born, and I was born so premature, guys, I don't think you parents out there had any idea how premature I was actually, how premature I actually was. I was very sick. I was very ill. And by the time I hit age 4, that's when things got, even worse, because I barely had any language before I turned 3 or 4, because all my language was gone. It wasn't even there to begin with anyway, because I was already in the world of autism. I didn't need to go looking for the world of autism. The world of autism came and found me. So that meant that by the time I was 4, all my language went away. I had 0 kids play. I had no eye contact, no communication, no listening skills, no socializing skills with other people. No communication means talking and interacting with another person. I didn't have any of those skills back then because I was in my own world of autism. I didn't know what a gun was. I didn't know what an active shooter was. I didn't understand any of those things because I was a lost soul. I was lost in my own world with autism on the moderate autistic scale. And what you parents out there don't realize and don't reconcile is that your child's autism is very scary. So for me, my autism was very scary because it could have gone either way, where I could have been one of those kids who didn't recover from autism, or I could have been one of those kids who did recover from autism and who did went on to lead a normal life and who did this and who did that. Well, one day all of that changed, because the therapy that I got was known as ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, which is based on changing my challenging behaviors and taking them to behaviors that are more appropriate, more sociable, where I can communicate more, I can interact with others more, I can do this, I can do that, I can say Mitch and Peggy's name, I could learn how to request for things, so I no longer had a temper tantrum to get it. And all that therapy led into school. So by the time I got into school, all that therapy that I got was done. The therapist, they shook my hand and they said, well, all the therapy's done here, so your son JP Mitchell better move on to some new therapy. Now, before we did this, we did a program at the Queen Alexandra's Children's Hospital in Vancouver. We did a program called the Anscombs Project. And the professionals there at the Queen Alexandra, they were no help to us. Like, they said, well, your son JP Mitchell is a perfectly normal autistic child, and you're just going to have to accept the fact that he's probably never going to speak. He most likely will never be potty trained. He will most likely probably never get to high school. He'll never have meaningful relationships. He'll never say to you or Peggy that JP Mitchell, that's me, loves you guys. He will never ever recover from this. This is not something that you recover from. So take your son home, learn to deal with it, but learn to accept it. Learn to accept that this is how your son's going to be for the rest of his life. And when he's older, when he's 19 or so, he's going to punch you a lot harder, and he's still going to be crawling on his own two hands. So that right there was, for Mitch, my father, my best friend, that was not an option. Mitch and Peggy could not accept this future for me. They said, no, we're going to fight for our son. We're going to recover him. He's going to go to college. He's going to go to university. He's going to get married. He's going to have a family. He's going to have kids someday. All these hopes and dreams that Mitch and Peggy had hoped for me are now all possible, because now that I'm recovered from autism, I have those abilities to get married, to have a family, to raise a family, to buy a house of my own someday, to do this, to do that. All these hopes and dreams that I once had back then when I was autistic probably were never even possible. So that's the before footage when I was autistic. Couldn't talk, couldn't communicate. And as time went on, once I finished Journey Middle School, that's when at the end I started to talk to my EAs. So that was a clear signage that I was on the road to recovery from my autism, that I was almost there. And by the time I get into EMCS, this was the tremendous miracle. I'm talking in full sentences. I'm speaking to people. I'm interacting. I'm talking with a younger grade 9 student of who's your favorite GTA 5 character. I'm trying to ask, girls out on dates. I'm talking to girls. I'm smoozing. I'm schmoozing with girls. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And this was a clear signage that this was the before footage when I was autistic. And now this is the after footage of me telling my bullying tormentors like Jacob, Kelvin, Natasha, Dustin to leave me alone. Showing some emotions in there, playing PE and, playing sports in PE like football and all that good stuff. And, me getting a touchdown in PE. Touchdown! Yeah! And, me playing, freeze tag and soccer and basketball, and me bringing past events of things that I could never do in my childhood back when I was autistic. All these things I could have never have done. And the best thing is about my story was that we got those therapists from the Ministry of Children and Family Development for free. It didn't cost us anything. We got them for free. So I was like, yeah, free therapist. Right? So that was the beauty of the whole thing. That was the whole process of me recovering from autism. So that was the whole amazing autism recovery process, was that by the time we get the therapist in the Mitchell house, all that therapy leads up to my full complete recovery. So now we go into high school, and then this is where I'm in life skills, I'm in PE, I'm getting some extra more therapy and all that stuff, like life skills therapy, woodworking therapy, textiles therapy, PE therapy. And I make a complete full recovery when I was 18 years old. I was no longer autistic when I was 17. The signs weren't there, the characteristics were not there. And by the time I hit age 20, and now this was amazing, because for me, what I really love about this is the fact that both my journeys were completed. My eye surgery journey was done in 2018, and my autism journey was complete in 2018. So I found that for both my journeys to be done in the same year at the same time, that to me was tremendously amazing. So anyway, to all you parents out there, let's get this video going, guys. Let's do it. But before I get into the video, you guys need an early diagnosis to get started. You need therapy, you need funding, you need to start on the GAPS diet. You need to go to a pharmacy to get methyl B12 injections. You need a social worker in order to receive the funding and the therapy that you need. And don't wait and hope. That's the thing for you parents out there, is that you don't realize that if you wait and hope, nothing will happen. The gap will grow, it will increase, and your child will be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years old. And then what's the point of you getting him therapy? So you need to do it between the ages 3 to 5 years old. So let's do this, guys. Let's get it.